Hi gang, Rob here with another product overview for CollectorKnives.net. Today we are looking at the Scandi Bushcraft series of knives from Landi Cutlery. And this is a knife that comes in two sizes. The Scandi Bushcraft, which has a 4 7/16 inch blade, and the Scandi Bushcraft Jr. with a 3 15/16 inch blade, so about a ½ inch difference in blade length. The rest of the knives are extremely similar. There is just the slightest difference in handle length, with the larger size, the full-size Scandi Bushcraft coming in at 4 9/16 inches in handle length, and then 4 7/16 on the Junior. Both knives are made from 1/8 inch stock, and they are 01 tool steel. And I guess John chose 01 rather than his normal A2 in his camp and woods knives because 01, the oil hardening high carbon tool steel, is more of a traditional favorite among the bushcraft community. 01 takes a very, very fine edge, is pretty doggone easy to sharpen, and holds onto that edge for a long time. It's almost like an enhanced 1095. It just does everything a little bit better than 1095. And that ease of sharpening and the ability to take a fine edge, super important when we start talking about its grind. And these are both Scandi ground knives, which means we have full stock thickness from top to bottom, about 70% of the way down. This is completely flat and parallel for those of you who aren't familiar. And then we have a secondary with a primary bevel, which is also the only bevel on the knife, for about the last 30% that goes to 0. Now these knives from the factory do have a slight micro bevel on them. Don't know if you can pick that up. Pretty much just a deburring micro bevel, and the purists who are going to buy these are probably going to take them, kind of mirror polished to 0 using that Scandi grind. And the Scandi is favored by the bushcraft community for its ability to really process wood. It's able to make feather sticks at a very controlled depth, so you can make them super fine and curly, very much like a chisel. It's also good at batoning wood because the primary or the only bevel on a bushcraft knife is generally about 22 degrees inclusive, which would be pretty wedgy if it was a full flat grind knife ground at that degree, which makes it a great splitter. So you get the advantage of having a very thin, acute cutting edge bevel, but that cutting edge bevel also functions as the primary bevel for the knife. So when you're batoning through a piece of firewood, it really puts a good splitting action, separating the two halves. That's why guys like the Scandi grind. Not a super great grind for all-purpose camp tasks, including food preparation, because it's not a great slicer. But the bushcrafters just love it. And this knife was designed with the assistance of LT Wright, and it's in just great proportions, no matter whether you go for the junior version or the full-size Scandi Bushcraft. Just a perfectly designed classic bushcraft blade. And let's kind of talk about the handle, which is super important in a bushcraft knife, because generally you're going to be using it in prolonged hard cutting use, and if the handle's not right, your hand is going to get tired and it's going to hurt. So we want a knife that has enough dimension top to bottom versus its thickness that it won't twist in your hand, and these don't, but it still needs to be smooth enough without sharp points anywhere, so that you get no fatigue and no pain in long-term cutting. So a grip that you're going to use a lot in a bushcraft knife will be this hammer grip. And it is super comfortable. The handle just filling the hand, leaving no voids anywhere really. And then in the draw cut grip, again, very, very comfortable. This is not a knife you're ever going to employ probably in this reverse grip, for defensive purposes. If you did, it's pretty good though. And then a lot of times you're going to be using this knife in an overhand pinch grip. And again, this sort of nondescript, well-rounded, gently contoured handle just fits the hand superbly, no matter whether you're using the junior or the full size. Just a super well-designed bushcraft knife. Now these knives are going to come in about the $150 price range, and they are 01 tool steel, and some of them are better preserved in the package than others. I notice on this full-size knife, it's got a little patina going on as we look at the edge of that full tang construction. You bushcrafters aren't going to care, are you? You're going to have these things loaded up with tree sap and scratches and a little bit of patina going on when you get that acid tannin from trees and bark and stuff on them. It's what you expect with an 01 bushcraft knife, isn't it? Let's take a look at the sheaths, and they are a little different, so we'll look at them individually. First of all, for the junior, for the small knife, and both of them are classic bushcraft style sheaths, fold over construction. They're going to encapsulate most of the knife, just giving you enough handle exposed to extract, and super good retention, at least when they're new. No need for a retention strap or snap or anything like that. And then on the junior sheath, we have the loop folded over and riveted in two places for belt carry, then also leaving enough room if you wanted to install a dangle, you could. If you look at the full size sheath, again, great fit, but the attachment method a little different. Only one rivet and dangle installed. You could certainly pop off this D-ring and go to belt carry. It would, of course, ride a little lower than the junior. Just a difference that might apply to each individual preference, but other than that, the construction of the sheaths very similar. Well, that is all for the Landi Scandi Bushcraft series. And like I said, they are available now on collectorknives.net. Get the one that fits you. By the way, they come in a variety of handle materials, micartas, hardwoods, even some G10 options. So pick the one that's right for you, and I'll see you guys soon. Grace to you and peace from God our Father and the Lord Jesus Christ. And remember, the word is sharp.